The antique shop was shrouded in a perpetual twilight, dust motes dancing in the slivers of weak sunlight that pierced the grimy windows. I'd been drawn to a small, framed portrait tucked away in a shadowy corner. It was of a woman with piercing dark eyes and an unsettlingly serene smile. The artist's skill was remarkable. Her gaze seemed to follow you. The shop owner, a gaunt man with eyes that held stories older than the artifacts around him, quoted a surprisingly low price. "She's been here a while," he'd rasped, avoiding my gaze. "People, they don't seem to take to her." Back home, I hung the portrait in my study. The first few days were uneventful, but then I started noticing it. Subtle shifts. The angle of her head seemed to change ever so slightly when I wasn't looking directly at it. I dismissed it as tricks of the light, the power of suggestion. One evening I was working late, the only light source my desk lamp. A chill snaked down my spine. I looked up at the portrait. Her smile seemed wider, almost predatory. And her eyes, they were no longer just following me. They were fixed on me. I blinked. A long, deliberate blink. When my eyes reopened, the change was undeniable. Her eyelids, previously static in the painted canvas, were now infinitesimally more closed. As if she had just blinked herself. Panic began to claw at my throat. I told myself it was exhaustion, stress. I forced myself to look away, to focus on my work. But the feeling of being watched, intensely, was overwhelming. Another hour passed. I couldn't resist. I looked back at the portrait. This time, her eyes were noticeably more closed. The serene smile now held a hint of something else, anticipation. I stood up, my heart pounding against my ribs. I had to get rid of it. I reached for the portrait, my hand trembling. Just as my fingers brushed the frame, I blinked again. A quick, involuntary movement. When my eyes opened, the woman in the portrait was gone. The frame was empty, but on the dusty wall behind where the portrait had hung, two fresh, dark smudges stared back at me. And they were exactly the distance apart as the eyes in the painting. And then I felt it. A cold breath on the back of my neck.